Kim, thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I've loved watching all of your podcasts and your content. So good.
Thank you. We so appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with the same two questions I ask everyone. Where are you from and how many kids do you have?
Okay, so I'm one of the rare ones. Whenever I tell people I'm born and raised right here in South Florida, they're like, really? But yeah, I've lived here my whole life. I was born in Miami, and then we made our way a little bit north, and we love it here.
It's the best.
Yeah, I love it.
When you like give your phone number to people and it's like 305,
Always.
they're like, you have a 305 phone number?
They're like, wow. They either say, okay, 305 till I die, which is Pitbull,
Yes.
which he's like major
Yeah.
in Miami.
Coined the term.
Yes, exactly. Or they're like, wow, okay, you really are Miami, because now they changed the 305 to 786 because they didn't have enough 305s to go around anymore. So I'm always like, I am never going to change my number.
Same.
Like, this is my number forever.
100%. I'm a 954 because I grew up in Broward County, and people are like, oh, a Floridian. I'm like,
yep.
Yeah, it's like you don't find us anymore. It's like we don't exist.
So true.
But then we have the 786s in Broward County too, because they ran out of phone numbers for everybody.
Yeah, never, like, no shame to 786. It's just like 305.
Yeah, you're not like the original users of phones in Broward and Miami-Dade counties.
Yes.
How many kids do you have? How old are they?
I have 2 kids. I have a son and a daughter. So my son, Ryan, he's almost 12.
Okay.
And my daughter, Livy, she is 9 and about to be 10.
That's
so
exciting. Really
fun ages. I just like love hanging out with them, and they're at a really fun age where they're self-sufficient and they have like their own thoughts, and you just like see them forming into these little people. And I love it. I love this phase.
That's really sweet. I was sitting with my husband the other day. My kids are very young. They're 1.5 and 4.5. We sat at the kitchen table for 20 minutes, like being able to, like I was reading, he was like working on something, and our kids were just like playing together in the other room. And he's like, have we ever been able to do this before? I was like, no. He's like, they're being really quiet though. And like, that probably means they're coloring on the walls. We like peeked our head into my youngest's room, and they were just like playing with trains together.
That's a moment. That's like a parenting moment. That's a core memory of like, you're not going to be in the thick of it forever. And it's like, it's so true. Like, I think back to when my kids were kind of like that age. And I remember thinking, like, are we ever going to be able to sit down and have dinner again? Like, that was a thought that really crossed my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. And like, you feel like it's going to be forever then, but it really does go so fast.
Yeah. I'm like weirded out that I already have, that there's 2 and he's already like almost 1.5. Like, it's just,
I know.
It's like a very odd concept.
I know. But we're not getting older.
No.
Right?
I saw a meme
we're
the other
same.
100%. I saw a meme the other day that was like, I am in my 30s, but I am also 55 and somehow also 16.
Yeah.
I was like, I relate to that so hardcore.
So I mean, yeah.
Like, we're teen parents, right?
100%. And I still feel like my son is in middle school now, and it's so clear. Like, I remember middle school like it was yesterday. And the fact that like I have a middle schooler, how, when, it's reality.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
How long have you been practicing yoga for?
So I've been practicing yoga for 20 years.
Okay.
I've been practicing for a really long time. I started in high school with a friend. Her mom was very into it, and we went to a yoga class with her. And I just remember loving the first one. And I was like, what was that? Like, I just felt very, very at peace the whole time during the class. I wasn't in my head at all. I was really just focused on where I was in that moment. And I guess you don't really think about that, but to be present, like where you are not thinking about what happened before or what's going to happen next, it was just like this amazing feeling. So that was when I started, and then it wasn't really that popular back then. So, and I needed rides places, so, but then once I got to college, I started doing it like very consistently. And I loved it so much. I was particularly doing Bikram yoga or hot yoga. And that was kind of like in at the time. So it was really, really hot. You would sweat a lot, but still that feeling that I got during it. And then it was like this yoga high afterwards. It's like you're kind of chasing that feeling every time you go to a class. So kept doing it. And then I got pregnant. When I got pregnant, I didn't really do prenatal. It wasn't very big. There weren't very many places offering it. It was when I had my first child afterwards where you're in this postpartum and you're kind of like, who am I now? What just happened? Like I was just like in this, like I didn't have postpartum depression, but I definitely had postpartum anxiety. And you're just like, how do I get back to me? You know, it's kind of like your identity shifts and you're now like responsible for this little life and you're trying to take care of them. So you really deplete yourself of a lot, you know, caring for yourself, moving your body. You just kind of put this little person first and like it naturally happens. But if you let it happen too much, you kind of fall into like this, not like depression, but like this kind of like lost feeling. And I have a very supportive husband and I think he noticed and he knows me very well. He knows yoga is like my safe space. So he bought me a big class pack of, a big pack of classes,
Something like that, yeah.
Yes, a bunch of classes to one of the studios that I used to go to a lot. And I was like, first when I got it, I was like, oh, like, how am I going to find the time? And he's like, it doesn't matter. Like you have the classes, like start going. This is what always has made you like feel so much like you and grounds you and makes you feel at peace. So that kind of kicked off me getting back into it as an adult and as a mother.
Obviously you're a certified instructor.
Yes.
What made you then want to become certified to teach?
Yeah, so for a really long time, like I would go to the classes, enjoy them on the student side. Maybe I thought to myself a few times, like, how awesome would that be if I could be the teacher and give others the feeling that I get from being here in this class. I'm sure I thought that many times, but it seemed like such a reach, like that seems so impossible. And then after I had my second and I was feeling more like myself, then COVID hit. And in 2020, I feel like for a lot of people, their vision got really clear about kind of like their priorities. Maybe what they were doing at the time wasn't their passion, but they were doing it because you have to do something.
Right.
And so during COVID, I really sat and I thought a lot about like what I wanted to do because I felt like I was kind of in like this rut and I wasn't fulfilling like my true calling. But sometimes that's really hard to figure out when life is so busy.
Yeah.
And so I was actually doing a Zoom therapy session with my therapist at the time. And I was telling her how I was feeling. And my background is in marketing and psychology. So before I became a yoga teacher, I was doing marketing for other businesses and stuff. And she was like, so what would you do if like there were no like restrictions on anything and you could just pick what you would do? She said, next time like we have a session, I want you to come back with like the list of what you came up with. And so we came back. And there were two things on the list. The first one was become a therapist or a psychiatrist. And the second one was yoga teacher.
Okay.
And she was like, and I was like, well, I really don't want to go back to school. Like I feel like the ship has passed on that. And like, I really love how yoga is the mind and the body. So like, that would be amazing. She's like, okay, go do it. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, literally Google like
how to become
a yoga instructor. She's like, you already basically like, everything. You've been practicing for years. She's like, go get certified and then see what you do with it. And I was like, oh,
I'm allowed to go do that?
I'm
really?
Like, yeah. And I just feel like after 2020, like so many things opened up and like your perspective kind of changes. And it was kind of like, if not now, when? So that's what I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when did you officially like become certified?
So I started in 2020, and by 2021, I was certified. It was interesting because it was online. So it's like you're doing these tests and you're learning all of these things with the body, and how to teach others. And it was all via Zoom, but it was really nice because we were meeting people from all over the world.
Was it Zoom because of COVID?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because of COVID. And then after COVID was over, still a lot of places do offer Zoom, which is interesting because it turns out you can get certified. It was definitely different. And I would say I worked a little bit harder after, because once we came back to like the post-COVID world, I really wanted to get that hands-on experience. And that's where kind of everything evolved when we were able to get back out there. I remember hosting my first class in one of my best friend's backyards.
Okay.
And it was incredible. It was so much fun. And yeah, then it just like progressed from there. And then I did a mentorship with a yoga teacher that I really look up to in Delray. And he kind of opened my eyes to the fact that you can be a yogipreneur. Like you don't necessarily need to work at a studio. You can kind of make your yoga teaching journey what you want it to be. And so I thought about that a lot, and I kind of just like came up with this concept and ran with it, and it's really evolved into something that I'm so proud of.
So let's talk about said concept now.
Yes.
Because we met through the internet.
Yes.
The wonderful technology that we now have. And you are a yoga instructor and a content creator. So how did all of this kind of start for you?
Yeah. So because of my background in marketing, I feel like that kind of helped segue with the yoga and my business, because once I started my own thing, I was kind of like, okay, now I need to like find people and I need to tell them like, I have a new career. I'm using all of this past 20 years of knowledge, all like my certification, and I want to make a community. I want to create a community where yoga, movement, and community is all accessible. So I started posting online every time I would have a class, whether it was in my backyard. I would walk into coffee shops, shopping centers, anywhere that you could do yoga. Restaurants, like I would walk in and I'd introduce myself and I'd say, hi, my name is Kim. I'm a yoga teacher and I'd love to offer yoga here. Like, how can we work together? How can this benefit both your business and the community? And everybody loved it. They're like, if we have the space, or we can create the space, like that would be amazing. You bring the people, they can have a coffee after. We could do a yoga and a brunch. And then I started like making these things bigger and bigger, and just new ideas and just turning out different kind of fun, creative ways to do yoga. And the community just kept growing and growing. And now it's just incredible.
Where are some of the places that you've done yoga?
So we've done yoga in so many awesome places. We just did a huge yoga class at the Boca Town Center Mall.
Nice.
In partnership with Lululemon. And we had like over 200 people show up for a morning yoga flow, and we all got to talk after. And a lot of times when people come to the yoga classes, that I teach, I always say like they come for the yoga, but they stay for the community. So I've seen so many friendships start and blossom from people meeting at my classes. And then like they go off and they're like, oh, like they'll send me a picture. They're like, look, Kim, like we went for breakfast this morning. And it's these people that would never have met if they didn't meet. That's through
really cool.
community.
You're like a
at
matchmaker.
yoga. And it just feels so good. Like it just feels so good. And I do get that feeling that I always hope that I would get. And it's even greater because like when I started, I had no idea what it would become. And I really do think that speaks to like showing up as yourself. I think if you're not authentic, nothing's gonna last. So I really just try to be myself, and I try to be very welcoming. And so that's one piece of advice I would tell people, that like, don't try to be anybody else. Like, being yourself is your superpower, and that is what is going to help you grow whatever you're doing. So
That's so awesome.
yeah.
I love that. That's really cool.
Thanks.
What was the point in when you started doing this? Did you quit your job and just like full time into yoga, or was there like an overlap period where you were still working a little bit?
It was kind of like, because I worked for myself before that as well, doing marketing for other businesses. So I kind of just slowly kind of told them like, I'm going to be pivoting.
Okay.
And eventually like I'm going to be doing like my own thing. And it just naturally like worked out like that.
Okay.
And then so between posting online on the internet and then sharing, kind of like, there was a decision at a point where it was like, do you want to make a separate yoga page other than like Kim the person and Kim the teacher? And I just decided not to. I was like, no, like, this is my life. I'm a yoga teacher, but I'm also a mom. I also have struggles just like everybody else. I also love to eat. I also love to shop.
Yeah.
I also love to save. I also love to travel. So like, why not make this a hub where people can come, maybe if they want to see things that are relatable, if they want to feel less alone, if they have a question about yoga. That was a conscious decision to kind of mold everything into one place.
It's like all encompassing. It's just you.
Exactly. Like, I didn't want there to be a separation. And that's how it is too. Like, with the content creation, now I'm able to do things with other businesses and bring my kids along when we travel. If I'm showing like a hotel, and then it's like, okay, like maybe I'll take a wellness class there, and that can be involved too. So it's kind of like a natural transition. Yeah.
I know you did it like kind of progressively and like slowly dwindling down like the marketing side and then the full-time yoga.
Yeah.
What did it feel like when you were like, final client done, this is now something I'm doing full-time?
Yeah, I remember it was scary. It was really scary, but for some reason, it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. I think because I knew, like, without doubt, that this is what I was supposed to be doing, that, like, I didn't even hear any other noise around me. Like, I wasn't going to hear if somebody was going to say, like, are you sure you want to make that move? Like, are you sure? Like, I didn't care if I heard no's, like, when I walked into places. Like, I showed up very much like, this is what I'm going to be doing. And, like, get on or get off.
Yeah.
Like, I like, come for the ride or don't. And like, my willpower is very strong. Like,
Yeah.
I just kept going.
That's really great.
Yeah,
Good for you.
it was really amazing. Like, and it was also interesting, like, a lot of times I thought, oh, like maybe it'll be like, maybe someone's going to say no, or maybe if I give them like a price for, like, because I teach like bachelorette parties too. Like,
Right.
there's so much fun that you
Yeah.
can do with it. And it turned out to be a yes so many more times than a no. Like, I just feel like that's also a tip that I would say is like, you won't know, like, unless you try. It's always going to be a no if you don't try.
The worst someone says is no.
Yeah.
And you just move on to the next thing.
Exactly. You move on to the next thing. And usually, if you do get a no or something doesn't work out how you were planning, it's usually for the best. And it's protection, not rejection. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not meant to be.
Correct.
And that's okay.
And sometimes you realize it like way later down the road, but usually you do end up looking back and being like, wow, like, I'm so happy that didn't happen, because if XYZ, then I wouldn't be here, So
you mentioned that you taught a yoga class at Boca Town Center with Lululemon. You're their official, please correct me on like the terminology I'm using. You're like their official Boca's location yoga instructor, right? Like, what's your your new title they've given you?
The Lululemon Yoga Ambassador.
Okay.
So every Lululemon store has 2 to 3 ambassadors. And the Boca store actually has 3 because they're very popular. They do a lot of sales.
Yeah.
The store is very busy. Shout out Lululemon, Boca. That was a very full circle moment for me when they asked me if I would be their ambassador, because I remember going into Lululemon as, a middle schooler, a high schooler, and I would see the people on the wall the ambassadors. They've been doing this forever. And I would see the picture of them, and I would just like look up to them, and I would be like, wow, like that's amazing. Like the fact that they were like so inspirational and aligned so much with the values of such a brand like Lulu, that they're their ambassador and they're on their wall like maybe one day, but like no, like that's crazy, like that's not attainable, like me. And then to have pivoted to this, and I might not have been a yoga teacher for 20 years or 15 years or 10 years, but to see the community that I've created and to have them notice that. So like, you can't apply to this. They need to seek you out.
Yeah.
They want to know that they're picking somebody who's a good fit, that aligns with their values, that cares about community. It's much less about influencing and much more about impact. And I think that for me, that's what's most important overall, impact. So that was a really full circle moment, and I'm very, very proud to represent them and to represent the Boca community. And it's just the beginning. So like so many exciting things to come there.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What is it that you will now do for them? Or if you're allowed to say, like, what are the things that now, what's your job? What are your duties for them now that you are the ambassador?
I mean, I would say less than duties. It's more about like the relationship benefiting each other, right? So like they're there to support me on my journey, and I'm there to do the same for them and for the store. And so we'll see. Honestly, like we'll see. It's all so new to me. So
yeah, because it only happened like a few months ago.
Yeah, like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
I have no concept of time anymore. So like,
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Me too. Like another thanks motherhood.
Right.
No, but it's really exciting, and they have such an amazing team, and everybody's just been so supportive. So
that's awesome.
it's exciting. Yeah.
So you mentioned the word community has come up a lot in our conversation so far, and you mentioned when you have taught classes, total strangers become friends and they send you a photo of them like having brunch together. Talk a little bit more about some of the community like that, the connections that you've made, the people that maybe you've inspired throughout this process. Like I'm sure you get a DM every once in a while like, hi, I'm a new mom, help me with XYZ. Like what are some things that people are coming and saying to you?
Yeah, I mean, I got a really nice DM the other day from somebody, and it was from a mom, and she just told me like, thank you so much for hosting these events, because it's a way that my daughter and I get to be with each other in a fun way. And I think if it wasn't you like doing these classes and these fun things, I don't think like she'd be coming with me to like workout classes, and to hear that like this mother-daughter relationship is like just evolving and growing just from like my classes. That was super nice to hear. I have older people who had never had a mat before. They didn't even own one. So the first time they came with a towel, and they kept coming. Then they came back with a mat, and now they've been with me for like 3 years. And she can do like back bends and splits, and
it's amazing.
She's just like, her health, she tells me like after her doctor's appointments, like just everything looks amazing, the doctor says, and like just to keep the yoga up. So it's like, it can be anything from like a comment like that making my day to even like sometimes like they'll bring me a card or like just something to say like how much it means to them that, I show up for them. And I'm like, listen, like it's the same. Like you're filling me up, I'm filling you up. It's like a mutual, relationship.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Have you ever brought either one of your kids to any yoga with you?
Yeah, I have. So sometimes I do puppy yoga. I know.
So fun.
Yes. So we did like a really big one last year, and I brought the kids, and they had a blast. They loved it. And then usually they want to come to certain events, but sometimes it's easier to not have them there because then I can kind of like switch out of mom mode, because I'm very like focused when I'm at my events. Like I want everything to run smoothly. I want everybody to have an amazing time. Like I want them to have an elevated experience where they leave just feeling very supported. and really good
Right.
about themselves. So sometimes I'm like, okay, like, Mom, can you watch the kids? Who does come to my stuff a lot is my husband.
Okay.
Because he is my unpaid employee.
Yeah.
He needs to help me with my speaker. I come with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So like he's just like amazing. He'll like help me with all my stuff, and sometimes he's behind the scenes like filming and stuff. He wears his Kim Rose Flows shirt. And he's been like a huge part of why this has been a success. Because it's a big deal to be like, all right, I'm totally pivoting, shifting, but I think he knew too. Like he knew from the beginning. He's like, this is what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially doing a kind of job, not so much the yoga. Yoga's been around forever, but
Right.
I always find it, I always love talking to content creators on this podcast because everyone's doing something different. And when we were younger, like this job didn't exist. Like you couldn't call, you know, someone who's been in the industry. I always use like a lawyer reference, like someone who's been doing law for 50 years. Like, yeah, you can call them and be like, what do you recommend I do for this? But like with content creation, this is like a relatively new thing. This has only like maybe existed for 10 years. So it's always interesting, I think, to kind of see the different approaches that everybody does, how it's impacted their life and changed their life. Because now this is like an actual job.
Yeah.
When like it wasn't when we were growing up.
It's so interesting. And also like for the business side too, like back in the day, these businesses were like taking out ads and like, you know, magazine, which I'm sure like they still do, but to be able to contact a content creator and have them create something in a way that's authentic and relatable, that's going to speak to the potential client or traveler or person on a deeper level, I think. And that's why like I really enjoy that side of what I'm doing. I love the yoga, and like I said, like I love community and I love doing huge events. That's like my jam.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, granted, I do need like a full day after to rot in bed and not see or speak to anyone, but it's worth it.
Yes.
But on the other side, I really love like right now, I found like the best dentist through social media.
Great.
Like she reached out to me and was like, hey, like we're a mother-daughter team. Like, would you be interested in like coming in and like, you know, checking out our office? It's in Parkland. And I was so impressed. And it's like a small family practice. I was so impressed. And now I'm doing like some content for her. My husband is doing Invisalign with them.
Oh, wow.
So it's been just like, it's just really nice.
Yeah.
It's like, it goes far beyond, you know, just the yoga.
It's like more connections than you thought maybe were possible.
And everybody, I realize, is like connected. Everybody.
Yeah.
That's something that like I just see time and time again is like everybody's like, oh, you know, so and so and so and so, and it's like everybody can be there for each other's businesses. And you know, when we collaborate, like we can go further. And so I've met like so many great people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
100%.
Yeah, that's what I think about.
Anything like great that I've done has not been just on my own. Like you don't do it's not like a solo ride. Like
Right.
that's why people are here. You're here to like work together, and you know, two heads are better than one, and you can just go so much further, like you said.
I fully believe that.
Yeah.
What kind of flexibility has teaching yoga, doing content creation offered to you as a parent? And
That's
being
such
there
a
for your
good
kids?
question. It's great. I feel like I always think to myself, like, maybe when I was younger, I didn't, you know how some people know, like, they want to be a doctor.
Right.
Or they want to be a news reporter. Or they want to be, I never knew exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew what made me feel good. So I feel like I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I created it.
Yeah.
So it's like I created this. I always wanted to be a mom, but I didn't want to have to be somewhere, you know, from 8 to 6. I wanted the flexibility, and I have that now. And I think it's taken time, but good things take time. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to do something I love, but I'm also able to show up in a way that I want to show up for my kids. I can pick them up, you know, from school. And that in and of itself, that's a gift.
Yeah.
You know, like that is. It's definitely a gift. So there's a lot of flexibility there. Sometimes I do things on the weekends and I'll have to miss an occasional game, a baseball game. But my kids are very understanding, and I think it's important that they see that I'm doing something,
It's okay.
that I'm doing something that's lighting me up. And they want that for
Yeah.
me. And I want them to see me doing something for me because that helps me be better for them.
It's important
So,
to fill your own cup. I say this
oh
every
yeah,
week. Fill your own cup before you pour into others.
100%.
And you make yourself a better mom by doing what it is that you love and
Yeah.
showing your kids that, like, even as a grown up, work doesn't have to be so boring.
Right. And also like a better partner too, like there's no resentment, it's just support. Of course there's like regular bickering
Yeah.
of like,
You didn't close the kitchen cabinet when you opened the kitchen cabinet. Yes.
like, are these socks glued to the ground? Nope.
Yes. Yes.
Here, but overall it's like, fly,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were talking in the beginning a little bit about what kind of got you back into yoga was after you had your son. What would you say to new or pregnant moms who, it's so true, like you lose yourself in motherhood. It happens to all of us because you have a new person to take care of.
Normal.
So like, take care of yourself? No way. We got to take care of the baby now. So what would you say to new moms who were looking to get back, either trying to become active again, or who have never started yoga, who have always thought, oh, yoga seems so fun, but I'm afraid to take a class?
Yeah.
What would you say to them if they're kind of in this new phase?
Yeah, so I think there's a few things. I think the first thing that would be probably most important to say is like start small. It doesn't need to be a marathon. You can take a short walk. You can go outdoors. You can stretch. Just do something and try to do it consistently. So those little steps, just being consistent with something, those all add up. So I would just start small, see how it feels, and then go from there. And then also classes can be intimidating, which is kind of why I feel like I started the community that we have, because I always want people to feel like it's a judgment-free zone. So try to go somewhere, maybe go with a friend, and just go somewhere where you feel supported, go somewhere where you feel, like there's people around you that are trying to lift you up. There's so many wellness things now, not just like my classes, like there's so many wellness festivals. I've been noticing like a lot's out there. So yeah,
You can find anything.
start small.
Yeah.
Start small and try to create habits.
For people who are wanting to do yoga, but they like see a pose and there's no way I can ever do that.
Yeah.
What do you tell them?
It's so not about the poses. I don't know anybody who went to a yoga class and ever regretted it after. If you're breathing, you're doing the yoga. It really is about the breath, and it's about the mind-body connection. It is definitely a work in, and I think that's what differentiates it from so many other modalities or workouts, and stuff like that. I would say don't even think about the poses and find an all levels class. Look around and find an all levels offering. And somewhere that doesn't intimidate you, because I know that feeling, even as myself, an instructor. I know how that can feel walking into a class.
Yeah, it can be scary,
It can
especially if your
be.
first time.
Totally. It
New
can
gym.
be very, very scary. So I would look for words like all levels, and I would look online and see what people are up to, and definitely don't think about the poses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Have you, besides Lululemon,
Yes.
have you had a favorite moment in this like journey so far?
Oh man. I mean,
I know,
there's
putting you on the
been
spot.
there's been so many, honestly. Like any time that like I was able to do something where I had dreamed about, which honestly had been so many different times of my career, whether it was my first brand deal, with content creation, like this wasn't my plan. It just organically happened. And so anytime something really exciting happens, I'm like, take a mental note of this, like take a picture. Lululemon is probably like my most exciting moment to date, but there's been lots of big classes that I've taught that have just like really filled me up. So That's a good question.
What are you looking forward to next? If there are secret things that you can't say, you're allowed to be like, I can't say. But are there upcoming classes that you have that you're excited for? What's next for you?
I mean, I'm just excited to see where this journey keeps going. I'm excited to keep showing up maybe in bigger ways. And just always like spicing things up and keeping it fun and finding new places, new venues to flow, new people to work with, new partners, just everything. I'm just excited for it all.
That's cool.
I really love this journey. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. Do your kids say like, you get perks from doing this, obviously. Do they have a favorite, like, oh, mommy, are we going to get one of those things again? Like, what's their kind of take on some of this?
Oh, man. My daughter is, like, all about, like the Sephora. Yeah. Like, not Sephora, but, like, the perfumes. Like, what you get. Like, sometimes, like, brands will send you, like, boxes with things in them. So she always likes to, like, open them. And, she likes doing, like, the trends, the dances and stuff, like, that she sees. So we'll do that fun stuff together. My son, he's really funny with it. He's always, like, he wants to do like vacations and like travel stuff, which now I'm doing like more travel content stuff, which has been really fun. And also food. So like I took him to a restaurant a few weeks ago that was like a chicken tender, like haven.
Yeah.
And he was like in heaven. They had like milkshakes and all this stuff. So like, yeah, they definitely get excited about it. And my son will be like, Mom, like all the girls at school follow you on social media. I'm like, how do you even know this?
Yeah.
Like, what? So, like, he just, they like the perks for sure. And my husband loves food. So, anytime we do something like at a restaurant, he's just like so down.
That's really funny. Yeah. I'm sure they're like, what about that thing you brought home the other day? Like, you got any more of that stuff? Like, the kids know.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. I like to end each episode by sharing a high and a low from the week. I call it a sun and a storm because, weather themed.
Yeah.
So I'll share mine first, and that way you can like think about like what you might have to say.
Okay.
And then we'll let you share yours.
Okay.
So I'll start with my son. So SUN for people who are like listening. Like you say that yes. So I have two, and I'm going to share them both.
Okay.
One, and I think I said it in this interview, or it was before we started recording. My husband and I got 20 minutes at our kitchen table alone this weekend while our kids played together, which was like, that's never happened before, and it was really nice. And then we had a birthday party this weekend. My kids had two different birthday parties, so we had to divide and conquer. And I went to one. My husband took my oldest to the other. The younger one was one of my like longest friends. Her son had turned 1. It was at her house. Very low key, very fun. I told my husband after, like, come over when you're done with the birthday. If we're still here hanging out, you can like have an early-ish dinner, and all the kids can continue playing until she kicks us out of her house. So me and her brother, who we've all known each other since we were like the age of my oldest, like 4, maybe 2, maybe younger. All of our kids were playing together. Then we like bathed them, got them in their pajamas. Then we all had like a little dance party in their son's room. And it was like really nice to be like, I've known you guys since we were this age. And now like all of our kids are playing with each other.
It's amazing.
And it was so cool.
That's like one of those feelings where you like get chills.
Yes.
You're like, this is really awesome.
Yeah. Like this is the point.
Yeah.
It was like really sweet.
Yeah.
And then the storm was that my youngest kept running into the walls in their house. So like he bumped his head, and then like the next day he was like looking this way while walking, and then like bumped his head again into a wall, and I'm like, we need to make sure you're not. And then he like cries and gets sad, and there's like a little bruise or a little bump and whatever. But that was the negative side. He just like continued walking into walls all weekend.
Yeah. I mean, we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been there.
100%.
Yeah.
Your
turn.
That. Thank you.
Okay. I like this. We do like a similar game with my kids.
Okay.
Like at the end of just to see like what was it go. It's hard to get kids to talk sometimes. I'm like, you can't just say like, how was your day? They're like,
you gotta ask like, who did you play with?
Yes.
What was a funny moment? Yeah, because sometimes my kid's like, it was fine.
Like, right. It's like I need a little bit more. Mm-hmm. So I would say, my son is this. I really look forward
I'm honored.
to this. Yeah. I I love listening to podcasts. I think you can learn a lot from them. And I was really happy that we connected, and I'm just so happy to be here
Thank you
and
so much.
to share. And hopefully, if anything I said resonates with one person, like, great. And then let's see.
You're negative. Yeah, that's why I started this. I was like, I want to connect with one person. I want someone to be like, oh, same.
Exactly. I would say my negative is that at one of my son's baseball games, he got hit with the baseball. Oh, God. And this has happened. Like, this happens. Yeah. But as a mom, it's still like really hard to see. So he has like a huge like baseball mark on him. But like, it's funny, like in baseball, like the coaches almost are like, yeah, be a wall. Because if you get hit, you get to walk. So it's like,
that's true.
Exactly. So it's like, but for a mom, it's hard to see. And maybe just the fact that over this past weekend, I did have to miss one of his games, which that's always hard, that mom guilt, even though like I'm an amazing mom and I know that. But like, I feel bad missing him, even though like my daughter's there, my mom is there, my husband's the coach. But it's like you put that pressure on yourself. So I felt guilty that I wasn't there, but you can't be everywhere at once. And you can't be everything to everyone all the time.
I agree. I think we all do that. It's like, oh, I'm missing this. Like, but I'm allowed to go do other things. I'm allowed to go have girls' night or do something for work, whatever it is.
Right. Like, I had to leave his game early because I had a friend's birthday dinner. And it's like, but I need to show up as a friend too. So it's like, I think that too with motherhood is hard. Like balance, I feel like is kind of like a fake thing. You're always trying to find balance, but it's really difficult. You just have to like do your best and let your best be enough,
I agree with that. It's a great saying. Do your best, let your best be enough.
Yeah. I mean, and that's all I ask of my kids too. Like, I'm like, well, did you try like on the test? Like, did you try your best? Yeah. Well, then you did. Yeah. And you did your best.
I love that. It's a great note to end on. Yeah. We're going to put all of your information in the show notes. So if anybody that's listening or watching wants to follow and connect with you, they'll know right where to find you.
Awesome.
So thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great.
This was so fun.
I love this. Thank you all for listening and watching, and we will see you next week.